And hello, everyone, and welcome back to my Senate videos where we take a look at the Senate races going on across America this year. And I give my analysis and my thoughts on the race as it currently stands. And we are recording this on May the 18th of 2026. And today we are looking at the Senate race in the Magnolia State, and that would be the state of Mississippi, and the seat currently held by Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. And Senator Smith is a Republican, and she is nearing the end of her first full term in office. In 2018, suffering the effects of dementia, Senator Cochran resigned, and Governor Phil Bryant appointed Miss Hyde Smith to the United States Senate to fill the vacancy caused by Cochran's resignation due to dementia. Um, she won a special election in 2018, and then the full term for the Senate came up in 2020, and she won that election with a margin of victory of just under 10%. Uh, Donald Trump won the state of Mississippi all three times. He won it in 2016, 2020, and 2024. Mississippi at the federal level is overwhelmingly Republican. Trump's margin of victory in 2024 was 22%, and his margin of victory in 2020 was just under 16.5%. So Trump increased his margin, as he did pretty much everywhere across the country, from 2020 to 2024. And like I said, Mississippi is incredibly red at the federal level. At the local level, and we'll discuss this in a minute with the primary totals, um, it's a little less so. Um, Mississippi holds a very early primary. They held their primary on March the 10th. And the two nominees chosen were Scott Colom as the Democratic nominee. He is a district attorney in Northeast Mississippi and has gained a reputation as an effective prosecutor in his over decade as the district attorney for the judicial district of which he is the district attorney, securing nearly a perfect record of convictions, about a 94 to 95% conviction rate, depending on what sources you read. Uh, Colom was actually nominated to the federal bench by President Biden and had the support of Roger Wicker, who is the current and was the then senior senator from Mississippi. He's also a Republican. He signed off on Colom's nomination. But there's a tradition in the Senate that for positions like this, both of the senators from a state have to sign off. And Cindy Hyde-Smith did not. And despite lobbying from Colom personally to meet with him, so he could explain his views, and other Republicans, Cindy Hyde-Smith said no. She was not going to drop her opposition to Colom, and his nomination died. And here we are now. So his decision to run was inspired by Cindy Hyde-Smith's opposition. And, he's really framing this as we're going to make her regret that opposition, because if he was a federal judge, there's no chance he would be running for the United States Senate as a Democrat in Mississippi. The Republican nominee is, of course, the incumbent Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. And Cindy Hyde-Smith makes Tommy Tuberville look like Nostradamus. She is probably the least intelligent member of the Senate. As I said, she was appointed in 2018. for a senator that was suffering from dementia. And Senator Hyde-Smith is just always seems uninformed, rarely does interviews. And in the few interviews she has done, it is exposed to why. She is basically an unremarkable senator. She is just a vote for the Republicans that they can count on um, to never stray from the party line. So, yeah, that's the situation. If you take a look at the primary, 51% of voters cast votes in the Republican primary, and 48% cast votes in the Democratic primary. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking, wow, this might actually be a close race. This might be, you know, something. There's something I need to talk to you about that where I said it was really heavily Democratic at the federal level? Well, sometimes on the local level, that's not the case. And this is a good example of why. Um, and both parties had an abysmal turnout. Just 158 uh, 158,000 Republicans voted, and 150,000 Democrats voted in the primary. And there was not really any competitive primaries at the congressional level or the federal level. Both candidates won the primaries by wide margins. Um, so that also accounts for the closeness of this primary. How do I think this race is going to turn out? Look, I know some Democrats are saying that with the political environment the way it is, and the right now the political environment's pretty terrible for Republicans. It's downright awful. It's kind of like being a Democrat in 2024 uh, it's bad. But um, it's a heavy lift. It really is a heavy lift. I don't um, really think that there's enough support for electing a Democrat to the Senate in Mississippi to get Scott Colom across the finish line. Now, if this is based on qualifications, intelligence, and who deserves to be a senator, Scott Colom would win in a landslide. But it's not. Voters are voters, and they make partisan, often bewildering decisions in that voting booth. And I think that's going to benefit Cindy Hyde-Smith. I think that her margin of victory will, if you look at Trump's margin of victory and her margin of victory, you're going to be like, what the hell, happened here? Um, or even Roger Wicker's margin of victory in 2024. Um, so she, yeah, she'll probably win. Um, but um, Republicans will have to work a little bit for it. Um, I fully expect that Trump will have to make a trip or two down to Mississippi to help her. But overall, I think that unless something extraordinary happens, that at this current time in May, that Cindy Hyde-Smith will be reelected to the Senate to her second full term. Um, if my belief changes, I'll make another video explaining why I think that is. But at this moment, there's not much in my mind that will prevent Cindy Hyde-Smith from returning to the United States Senate for a second full term. Now, I need you to do a couple things. I need you to like this video. I need you to share this video. And number three, if you haven't done so yet, I need you to subscribe. I love doing these videos. I love posting on Substack. It's great. And YouTube, because this goes to YouTube as well. I've been doing these Senate videos now for 6 years. I've covered every single senator, and we're coming around to covering some of them for a second time. So please like the videos, share them. Um, of course, this year we're adding something. We are adding governor's races. I've posted one. We're going to add some more in the coming weeks. So, uh, I will see you again soon. Stay safe out there. Uh, we are living in interesting times.